Welcome to the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast, episode 270. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Chad Wallace from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for all things firearms related. Tonight, we'll be discussing an Axeon scope review, Black Ace's tactical conversion, a laser saddle, and a Ruger compact. And because we're late, because there's flooding here in Oregon, the only person I could find to help out was Zane, because I don't know what his reasoning is, but we'll let him decide. So Zane,
because I have no life and I'm never doing anything.
Okay, well, what'd you do in firearms?
In firearms, I got a new medical kit, or just the outside part, because I have this really bad habit of throwing my trauma kit in the dash of my vehicle, and the sun destroyed it. All the molly webbing was just peeling off and stuff. So upgraded that, and then I shot a qualification course, which that was a thing we talked about kind of before the show. But yeah, so I shot an annual qualification course I'm required to do through work, and yeah, pretty much it.
Yeah, well, I actually did a couple reviews, if you count the one we're talking about tonight. I wrote another one. It's not posted yet. I had a question for the company that made the product, and they haven't got back to me yet. So it'll probably be up next week sometime.
Yeah, I'm not even working on any reviews right now. I got one product supposed to be in. It should be here any day, and I'll start on it. But I'm not even working on one. That's how bad I am.
That's okay. I'm trying to get caught up on them, and I'm in the process of doing that. And it was pouring down rain here all weekend, so it actually worked out good because I did not want to go outside.
I also had a question about a product, and I emailed the company 3 weeks ago, and they finally emailed me back a couple days ago. I'm real slick there. So and they needed more information, and gave more information, and haven't heard anything. I'm you guys are little, and it's a very, very well-known holster company. I'm not gonna throw them out there yet until I figure out if they fix my issue. Resolve is the word I was looking for. My issue or not. So I'm gonna wait before I throw them out there, but I'm a little perturbed with their customer service right now. So.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, and that was kind of like with me. It's nothing that the review really needs. It's just a couple specifications that I was curious about that I couldn't find on their website, and the stuff that they sent with the slide wasn't in there, and so I'm like, yeah, I'll wait. I did everything else I could on it, and I'll throw that in there if they get back to me. If not, it won't be in there.
Yep.
So on to the announcements. And first announcement is NRA annual meeting listener meetup is Saturday, April 27th at
Sun King Company at 6:30 p.m.
to 10, supposedly.
Yep.
Go to the Firearms Radio Network Facebook page if you want to know more. There is a link in the show notes. I think, Zane, are you going to be there?
My cutout. What happened?
Are you going to be at the NRA meeting?
Yeah, I'll be there.
So you'll be at the listener meetup too.
I will.
Awesome.
I think Tony's going to be there also.
I think so. In fact, I think they put him in charge of roasts or something, and not the kind you eat either.
Not the kind you eat.
And bandwidth sponsor is Patriot Patch Co. I did get my bunny patch, but they do have some cool World War II themed patches that are out or coming out, and they're pretty awesome. That's all I can say. So go check them out or join the Patch of the Month Club. You won't be, hurting if you do that. They send out cool stuff. Ryan does a great job. If you want to use our GunTech USA affiliate link, it's in the show notes or on the website. Also, check out Gunstreamer for firearms content. I actually, for the Gun and Gear Review podcast, put up a YouTube page or Gunstreamer page. Sorry. basically all I have right now is some stupid videos. I was just seeing if it worked. There is a short video of the product that's coming up for review, just kind of so people can see it in action. But hopefully we'll be putting more up there eventually. So
And you
you
never
can
know when YouTube's going to give us the boot.
exactly. And we don't really have anything on YouTube anyway. So I was like, I'll just start an account at Gunstreamer and use it. I mean, it works out good for us, and we don't have to worry about stuff on YouTube except the podcast video, which nobody really watches anyway.
It's true.
And if you're shopping Amazon, use the Amazon affiliate link at firearmsradio.tv/Amazon, which you should just have that bookmarked as your Amazon page anyway, but that's just my opinion. And if you want to shop Black Bag Resources and donate stuff to Tony, use the code 2A4E and the stuff in your cart will be given to Tony. And since Rob is not here, I guess I'll read this kind of disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual co-hosts and do not reflect the official policy or position of the Firearms Radio Network and or their employers. Viewer discretion is advised. This is especially true on live shows. Probably not tonight, but hey. And I have a review for you guys tonight, and it is on an Axeon scope, rifle scope. I do not have it with me, so you're not going to see it. You're going to have to go over to the Firearms Insider and check the review out there. But Axeon is a newer company. They have a few really interesting products. This is just kind of, they make rifle scopes too. So they sent me one of these. This one's a 4-12x40. They are distributed by Umarex USA. So the big air gun people, if you need to know anything about it, that's who's distributing it. So they have Umarex has a good reputation. So think Axeon will probably do well with them. I put it on my 17 HMR rifle just because that's kind of the type of scope that I wanted for it. It had a 3-9 on it before that, so kind of the same thing. I will mention this is a budget scope, so when I write these things tell you about it, I'm comparing it to other budget scopes. It's not like I'm comparing it to, top of the line Night Force or something like that, or
Because
even
that's not what it is. It's
exactly.
not,
it is not. It is a budget scope. So, and because we all started out buying budget scopes at one time, I'm sure we can all relate to budget scopes. It has your standard Plex reticle, which I think is fine in this type of stuff. I would prefer a ranging reticle, but in this price range, hey, whatever. It is in the second focal plane, as in almost everything in a budget scope is. So the Plex reticle stays the same size from 4-12 power. So nothing you probably couldn't figure out yourself.
Well, and the thing is, like you said, it's not a ranging reticle, so it's not really. If you have a ranging reticle, that can be a thing because you got to know what power it's. But if for
in this case,
it doesn't matter.
And it is, like I said, it's 4-12 power. It has a 40 millimeter objective lens. It does use a 1-inch tube. It does not have a fast focus eyepiece. Not that that's a big deal. Other budget scopes don't either. And I tend to set that focus and leave it anyway. Most people probably do, even if they have a fast focus eyepiece. But like I said, it has some decent features. It is fully coated optics. They call them green optics because they have a green color, not because they are earth friendly, which they might be, but that's not what I got out of it. It seemed to give good light transmission through the scope, even at 12 power. If you go check it out, there's a couple through the scope pictures that I didn't do anything to. I just cropped them, so it's not like I made them so they look clearer or anything. That's just, it's pretty clear, and I thought that was nice also. Images are nice and sharp for what it is. Uh, I could actually, even with my ancient eyes, as Tony would say, who's not here, I could see the little 17 caliber holes at 100 yards. It's a little hard to see, but that says a lot for it. If they're pretty small and hard to see, they do said it comes with flip covers. If you like flip covers, they aren't terrible, so I left them on. They're not like super super cheap ones that you want to toss away. They worked well, didn't have a lot of play in them, just kind of a bonus. uh the magnification adjustment knob was pretty smooth. I actually liked it. It makes switching magnification pretty easy while looking through the scope. uh I do have that complaint about some of them. They're too hard to use. This one was not. It seemed about where I liked it. They do. Axeon uses cap turrets for this thing. The cap screws screw on and off nice. Underneath are quarter MOA adjustment knobs. They're plastic knobs. They do have a decent grip to them, so turning the knobs is easy. But the thing that just killed the scope for me is the click adjustments are terrible. I mean, the one on the windage is pretty bad. You couldn't really even tell if it went a click or two or three. It was pretty bad. The top one was a little better for your elevation, but not much. But it did hold zero. So, there is that. Every time I went to use it, it was still sighted in. I just that one just got me because, like I said, I'm comparing it to other scopes in this class, and there are some that have pretty decent adjustments, maybe not fingertip adjustments, but decent clicks. So if you're in the market for a budget scope, you can go check them out. If the adjustments were better, I'd actually really like this scope, but because of the decent features. So it just needs a little refinement. The 8 key points: claim to fame, inexpensive quality scope, target market, basically people wanting an entry level optic. Features and benefits: it's 4 to 12 power, plex reticle, multi-coated green optics, the 1-inch tube, the 40 millimeter objective lens. It does weigh 13.25 ounces, so it's not super heavy, but not super light. It is almost 12 inches long. It's got your pretty much standard 3.5 to 4 inch eye relief. The field of view is pretty good at 4 power. It's 25 feet. And at 12 power, it's 8.3 feet. It does have 30 MOA windage and elevation adjustments. Of course, it's waterproof, shockproof, fogproof, the normal stuff. Other ones available, they make a 2 to 7 and a 3 to 9. I could not find anything of what others are saying or links to other reviews. I think these pretty much came out at about SHOT Show, and that was about it. Price point, the MSRP is $138.99. You can I found it on Amazon for about $119. So if you need it now, go to Axeon or Amazon. So for our rating, the pros: it has a large field of view. It's a nice touch that they had the flip cap, so I thought that was good. And it has good light transmission. Now the cons: I'm not keen on the duplex reticle. The click adjustments were not good at all. And if it matters to you, it is made in China, not like the Philippines or somewhere else. But a lot of budget scopes are made in China, so that's kind of whichever you want. So for the score, I gave it a 6.5 of okay. And
Did
yeah,
did you get a chance to shoot it under less than ideal lighting conditions, a little
I
bit
did.
darker,
I mean,
overcast?
I live in Oregon where it rains all the damn time.
That's fair.
uh,
So
and it had good light transmission when it was in crappy weather.
okay, so I had on a hunting rifle, I had a Simmons scope on it.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with Simmons, you know that they are not of the highest
Right.
quality. And I have killed a lot of hogs with that scope. You can make them work. It was terrible for transmitting light
Yes.
without perfect lighting conditions. So that's kind of a plus for this. I think the Simmons scopes also cost about $40.
Right. And so, yeah.
So the thing with the turrets that irritates me, what you're talking about with the clicks, but in all reality, once you get it set, you're not touching them again. Put some witness marks on it,
Right.
call it good. I think your assessment's probably fair. Obviously, I haven't put hands on it, but it sounds like a pretty fair assessment. I think if you're in the market for a $100 scope, might be something to take a look at. I would say try to save a few more dollars, but at the same time, like I said, I've killed a lot of hogs with a $40 scope. So,
and that's the thing and that's part of the reason, it's like I didn't want to stick it on something else. I'm like, oh, I'll put it on my 17 HMR because, typically, I mean, what do you shoot with that? Varmints. I mean, it's gonna hold up, and that's the only real reason that I would have preferred clicks. I mean, I've yeah. But the assessment, yeah, and that's what we do is honest assessments. So
it is
there
what
you
it
go.
is.
Yep.
It's not if you're listen. If you want the best of the best, you're gonna spend way more than $100 for it.
Right.
So,
And that's the thing is, and like for that 17 HMR, I mean, it's an accurate rifle, but I mean, a $400 scope on it is probably all I'll ever need.
I'd be interested. I went to their website. I'd be really interested in their 2x7 to put on like a rimfire or something. I think that
Right.
would be
The thing
awesome.
is how
but you got old man eyes, so
right, exactly. I have old man eyes, and if you're shooting what we call them sage rats. They're some sort of squirrel, and they're literally like 6 inches tall, sometimes maybe 8 if you get a big one. So they're like half-sized prairie dogs, so they're hard to see too. But what I was going to say, I mentioned in the beginning that they have some interesting optic products, and if you go to, they have, oh, what is it? The second zero, which is, it goes on like your rail and it flips up and it gives your scope an actual different zero.
I've seen that. Is that who makes this? Okay.
That is who makes it.
You know what I'm trying to say? I've
Yeah.
seen that. I just didn't know who made that.
Yes.
It's interesting. I don't know how I feel about that, but it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, and for certain applications, I could see how that would be useful, but and it's something that's not your standard scope, so that's why they make some interesting stuff. And I've looked through one of these. I've never shot with one of their second zeros, but they get a free plug for that one. So now that we're done with the review, I guess we'll get into the product spotlight and discussion. First up, Black Aces Tactical is making a retro receiver kit with an MSRP of $399. Basically, if you can guess what this is, it is a receiver and various parts and a magazine to make your Mossberg 500, 590, or Shockwave into a magazine fed 10 round or 5 round capacity magazine shotgun. Uh, you know, you can also get it in a plethora of different colors, including a couple pinks for, Tony, since he's not here. But basically, you replace this receiver and some parts, and now you have a magazine fed 590, 500. But since it is a receiver, you do have to go through an FFL. The magazine release looks like a paddle release, so it would go right in front of your trigger guard, and there'll be a little paddle to release the magazine. It's 6061 T6 aluminum. The extended receiver bolt and steel bolt slides are 4140 chromoly, 17.4 hardness stainless steel firing pin. Let's see, other stuff that probably doesn't matter. It's got their billet whiteout safety, which is a large safety that you can get because it's on top. Let's see, it's anodized in the black one. The steel is parts are electroless nickel. And if you really want to convert yours to a magazine fed shotgun, this one does it the right way because it goes in the receiver. You know, I thought it was a cool idea. I don't know if I'd want to pay that much money for it, but if you're into that, go ahead.
Did you say what the price was?
Yeah, $399.
Okay.
I don't know if I did, but I did there. So
Yeah. So I'm not interested in magazine fed shotguns. So this doesn't interest me at all, especially for that price. A much younger me was interested in magazine fed shotguns, and I almost bought one of those old. I think the company was Knox that was making it.
Yes.
And they were substantially cheaper, but they had a bunch of problems too. So I don't know. If you're into this kind of thing, yeah, it seems expensive, but at the same time, so are the magazine fed guns.
Right. And I think it'll be a decent product because most of the stuff
I haven't seen junk come from them.
Exactly.
I think a lot of the stuff they release is really
they don't release it until it's ready, I think.
Well, and there's stuff that seems really like seems well made, but a lot of it's like real gimmicky with the spikes on the front and the all the they make some weird stuff.
Hey,
but even if you bought this,
they're selling probably.
Yeah, they're making money. I mean, even if you bought this with the idea of just building out a gun instead of just converting yours,
yeah,
that'd probably be the route I would go if I was going to do this. But even then, you're still looking at another $150 for a barrel. You got to have some kind of a tube. I know it doesn't have to be a magazine tube, but you got to have something to screw the barrel to.
Right.
And then a stock kit.
Yep.
I don't know. If you're into this kind of thing, check it out. But it doesn't interest me in the slightest.
It didn't really interest me. I just figured people might, didn't know about it, might want to know about it.
But you know what you can put on this? Like if you did get this.
Oh, yes. And what would that be, Zane?
That would be the next product we're going to talk about.
Which might be why it was the next product in line.
And that would be the Crimson Trace laser saddle in green is the one in the show notes. And I think we got a question about this last week.
Yeah, somebody sent something to Tony or something, said, hey, what do you guys think about this? And so we stuck it in the show notes.
I think it was Rusty, actually.
I think it might have been. I think the green one, I put the green one in because my personal preference would be the green laser. It's $20 more. So get the green. It's going to work better for you.
And the battery life is probably also shorter. I don't know that.
Yeah,
but I'm going to guess.
I don't know if this model provides 3 hours of battery life.
Okay, so even if it's shorter, the other model provides 6 hours of battery life, and at that point, it's still a wash.
Yeah, I
don't know if it does 6 hours. I just made that number up.
No, it says 3 hours too.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Oh, I see. That's with 2 provided. I think the green one uses twice as many batteries.
Okay, well, see, my math was right, but I was just
and a different battery. It uses the 2016s, so it's the same size where the batteries go. It just uses 4 to get the same life. I like that. That's interesting. Right. Okay, let's get into this now. As you already know, it's different, but it's not too different. It's this little I understand why they call it a laser saddle because it's kind of goes over your Mossberg 500, 590 or Shockwave, which is where this thing would shine probably. And it kind of fits over. It's got some weird looks to it, but I don't know. One's the switch, pressure switch probably. One's where the batteries go. But it kind of slips over. I don't think it's the best looking thing, but it gives you the functionality of what it does. I don't think we already said the battery life because It's made of plastic. It does have a master on-off switch, and if you know anything about Crimson Trace, they do give you free batteries for life. This particular green one takes 4 2016 batteries. Uh, and the battery life's 3 hours. It is pressure activated. It's factory sighted at 50 feet. It does have windage and elevation adjustments and a 3-year warranty. The dot size is approximately a half inch at 50 feet. Crimson Trace has been making lasers for seems like millions of years nowadays. So I don't think it'll be a bad product, and I think this would really shine on the shockwaves or shockwave style because they'd have no way to really sight them anyway. I mean, you have to bring them up to look at the bead or sight down the barrel, so I think that's where they would shine.
Yeah, and hip shooting those things, despite popular belief, you can severely miss what you're aiming at
Oh yeah,
even 5-7 yards. It's
but if you have
very easy to completely miss a
a
person.
laser on it, you can at least see where you're going to shoot.
Right. Yeah, I have a couple concerns with this. The first of which is the placement of the laser for left-handed shooters. That could be a problem. I'm not positive. I haven't played with it. I'm sure they worked that out. My other issue is, if you're going to call it a saddle, why didn't they not at least put a 4 or 3 shell carrier on the other side?
that would be cool.
Like, I don't understand why they just didn't integrate that into this. Like, have ammo on the other side at least. Especially in those shockwaves, you're already down one in the tube.
Yeah.
So, and with a home defense gun, for the most part, you got the ammo that's on the gun. I don't care what platform you're using, an AR, a pistol, or a shotgun.
Yeah,
you got what's in and on the gun.
Exactly.
So, I would have liked to seen that. I'm not really a big laser guy, but I do see an application for them, for this.
Now and then, yeah, exactly. And I'm not a big laser guy either. It's like, okay, I don't really care for them, but I see the application on the shockwave.
Lasers can work if you use them properly. The problem is people are a lot like cats when it comes to lasers, and their eyes just want to follow that laser, and
and that's true. And the thing I find with lasers is they're best at actually learning from them because you can literally see like movement, like when you're pulling the trigger, or in dry fire they are spectacular. But
yeah, I mean, what is the price on this? Is about what, $200?
Yeah, for the red, and 220
for the green. You probably find it cheaper elsewhere. That's from Crimson Trace.
Yeah, that's list price, so a couple $100, and I don't think it's a bad thing for, like we said, what you'd use it for.
I wouldn't put it on a shotgun, like a real shotgun, like the Shockwave, which is not a shotgun. I can see an application for, but I also wouldn't have one of those. So, like on an actual shotgun with a stock, I wouldn't have this. I would use something. Even if I was going to use a laser, I would use a different type. But
right,
I do see if shockwaves are your thing, this could work for you. And the price isn't terrible. But Crimson Trace, they've been, like you said, they've been making lasers since I can remember.
And the thing is I can remember.
I'm sure it's fine. The pressure pad is interesting. It looks like that whole thing is a pad, so you could, no matter where you get your thumb on that, or I suppose you could even use your trigger finger to actuate it, but then when you go to start pressing the trigger, you're going to lose your sight. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's another one of those, like, if you're into it, it's probably fine, but it's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, I completely understand. It's not
this whole episode should be titled "Not Zane's Cup of Tea."
Well, yeah, but the next one is at least
not my cup of tea.
Not your cup of tea, but it's at least something. It's an actual gun.
It is.
I put in here the new Ruger Security 9 Compact, and with an MSRP of $379, you can get a whole gun for less than you can get a receiver magazine kit. Sorry, Black Aces.
I was muted, but I definitely laughed.
What we got here is their new Security 9 Compact. It's kind of in between a compact and a subcompact, if you ask me, but and I kind of put this in there because it's not terrible, I guess. It's Ruger makes good stuff. So we'll go through the specs here. It is 9mm. It's 10+1 capacity. Blued finish, 3.42-inch barrel, 6.52 inches overall, drift adjustable sights. They are just standard sights, not night sights. It's basically a polymer gun with hardened steel alloy. Slides blued. The slide is only an inch, 1.02 inches wide. That's nice. So it's fairly slim. It's 4.35 inches high, which is, I don't know, a 16th of an inch taller than like a Glock. What?
It's almost the exact size of a Glock 26. I have the specs for the Glock 26 pulled
okay.
up.
I looked at them the other day. So
the barrel length is exactly the same.
Right.
The slide width is the same. The overall width is similar. The height is within a quarter of an inch.
Exactly.
Mag capacity is the same.
Right. It uses their secure action, which when they first came out with it in there, I was kind of but then I shot one of the full-size ones of this gun last year at range day at SHOT Show, and I was impressed that the trigger is not terrible, and it is a hammer fired gun, which is even stranger. I mean, not for Ruger, but just because the feel of the trigger doesn't feel like your typical hammer fired gun. It literally feels more like a Glock trigger. And it wasn't terrible, so I'm sure this has the same trigger. It's got textured grip frame, drift adjustable front and rear sights. Let's see, secure action hammer is what they call it.
This is a double action only, right? By their secure action.
It's because it's secure action. It's literally more like a Glock. Instead of keeping the striker partially cocked, it keeps the hammer partially cocked.
Okay, so it's okay. That makes sense. So it's double action technically, but it's not. There's no double strike capability with it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the best way to describe it. It's basically a Glock style action with a hammer instead of a striker. No big deal. The standard 15 round magazines will fit it, and you can get a finger grip extension floor plate for them, so you can have 15 rounds in them. There is one thing that I do not like about this gun, and I would not buy it because of this, but that is my opinion. So far, they only offer it with a safety, and so there's one thing that I wouldn't, but it's not an ambi safety. It's just the safety's on the left side, not the right side. So if you're left-handed, yeah.
That's a little safety too.
I know. I was looking at that going, oh man, they put a safety on it. I'm like, oh, why'd they do that?
And you know what? I'm looking at the safety, and it looks like it's similar to like a 1911 in that you can't rack the slide with the safety engaged either.
Yes, I believe you are correct.
So it's got some features that I do like, and it's got some features I don't like. That safety is absolutely the top of the list.
Yeah, that's my top of the list of don't like.
I do not like the sights, but I'm sure there's someone out there who can fix that for me.
And they are both dovetailed, so that would be easy to fix.
It's got a rail, which is cool for this size gun.
It looks like it's got a decent sized trigger guard.
Yep, decent sized trigger guard. It's got front cocking serrations, if you're into that.
Yep.
I just I saw one of these show up in a class. I wasn't impressed with it, but I didn't shoot it either. There's certain things I think Ruger does really, really well, and there's certain things I think they do just okay at, and I think centerfire pistols are one of their okays. Like they don't make bad stuff. But
No, and that's the thing is I think they're reliable. You know, you don't really hear problems of them having problems,
no.
but I'm with you there. I think, you know, now you go to their rifles or something and but it's not, and for what the street market price is probably $330 or something for a little concealed carry pistol. If you want a safety, and you know, like we said, it's a Ruger, so they'll stand behind their product if nothing else, but typically their pistols work. They're nothing special.
The safety is a complete deal breaker for me because it doesn't need to be there. Like, I'm fine with a safety on a gun that needs it. So you're talking about a 1911,
right?
Or you're talking about
CZ
more of
an original CZ,
more of a decocker or something on like a CZ or Beretta. I prefer the decocker only, but whatever, I can deal with it with a safety. But on this case, it doesn't need to be there, so it just shouldn't be there. But I get it. And here's the other thing too. It's marketed. It's called Security 9, so I'm sure they're marketed towards security companies that are looking to buy cheaper than Glock or M&P or whatever. Unfortunately, there are some insurance companies that will give the security companies a break if the guns they have safeties.
Yeah,
because I know there are at least 2 companies I'm aware of that issues Springfield XDs because there's a grip safety on it and they get an insurance break. And I've argued ad nauseum with their training directors about that, but whatever. I would not put this in the category of duty, so I wouldn't use this as a copper or security type. But like you say, for concealed carry, I think there might be a role for it. Again, there's just so many good pistols out there right now, especially some can be had cheap. I mean, it's not really in the same category as this gun. It's a little smaller, but you can get Smith & Wesson shields, for like, I think I saw one for like $250, and then like you mail something in, they'll send you like 4 more mags. Or something.
As long as you don't get the 2.0s or whatever, because they're still to this day still blowing out the regular ones. But
I mean, like I said, I'm not interested in Ruger pistols unless we're talking about rimfire, and then that's a different animal. Yes. I think they make outstanding rimfire pistols.
I don't know what it is.
They make outstanding rimfire everything.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you there. I'm like, rimfire, and of course I like rimfire stuff. So,
and when I say pistol, I mean pistols. I think they make good revolvers too. But when it comes to semi-automatic pistols, I would skip on Ruger. I would certainly take this over a Taurus. I would certainly take this over a Springfield XD. Sorry for the haters out there. But yeah, it's definitely not at the top of my list.
Yeah, it's not at the top of mine either. But hey, we're throwing it out there. You know, I'm hoping they come out with one without a safety. That'll at least give them more people to buy them.
I would at least, if they had one without a safety, I would at least probably pick one up for classes.
Especially if you got a really good deal on it. They're not expensive anyway, but I get you.
Ruger, Ruger has a pretty good, I think it's, well, maybe I'm misspeaking now. I want to say Ruger has a pretty good instructor deal.
They might. I don't know.
Something like this would be nice for concealed carry classes because most of the people are wanting to buy a gun. And when you tell them what the cost of the guns I like are, they get that look. And it'd be nice to have something a little cheaper that I could show them if it worked.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'd have to put it through its paces.
But yeah, so Ruger, if you want to send him one, when you come
I'll run the snot out of it.
Exactly. Listener feedback. I looked a couple days ago or like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago. I don't know, whenever I did the show notes, and we didn't have any. So we're going to skip that. We're going to go through we're going to do the quick rundown of the Tony second is for everyone diversity shoots. We don't know when they are or anything. So you can go to Simon Says Train on Instagram. Second is for everyone Facebook page. The 2A for E web page. The second is for everyone GoFundMe if you want to give him money, or the 2A for E Patreon if you want to give him money all the time. So that's the quickest we've ever gotten through this, or Tony's section. Actually, I'm sure there's one. There's all these links will be in the show notes. So if you want to and can't find him just by searching for him, I mean, if you're in New Jersey, you probably can't miss him, but that's neither here nor there. So I will
That's a big guy joke.
For those Yes. And so send questions, comments, or feedback to gungearreview@gmail.com. Please remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review, and we'll read it on here under listener feedback. Check out all the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.tv. Be sure to visit the Firearms Insider for more reviews. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Firearms Insider. And thank you for listening to the not largest pound for pound podcast on the network this week. And we are out.
Bye, Felicia.